5 things that the TREX Hybrid Center can't do. Number 1, the TREX Hybrid Center, when cutting on top of vacuum pods on our proprietary hybrid cycle solution, the blade is cutting for the first time perpendicular, guaranteed every single time. Why is it perfectly perpendicular? Because for the first time, we're cutting the whole slab in the cutting process upside down on vacuum pods, which is a perfect level, probably the best level you can get is over vacuum pods. This is why all routers use pieces on top of vacuum pods to do profiling. So the profile is perfect on the bottom, all around the pieces. So that's a testament to the integrity of how perfect the level is over vacuum pods. So we put the slab over the vacuum pods, the CNC will home itself with a perfect verticalness, and this perpendicularity will be perfect while you're cutting. So you're upgrading the cutting quality. So it will not let you have a crooked cut. That's number 1. The TREX will not let you cut crooked because you have a lopsided unlevel table, usually on a substrate. Whether that substrate is a hardy backer on top of WATERJET slats, or whether it's a concrete table or a wood table. And so number 1 is it will not let you cut lopsided. It's perfectly straight every single time. Number 2, the second thing that the TREX can't do, it can't let you spend a lot of money or any money at all on table maintenance because it is not cutting in the substrate. So since it's not cutting into a substrate that I just mentioned, WATERJET tables with hardy backer on top, concrete tables, wood tables, rubber tables, etc., we're not beating up some kind of cutting surface. So therefore, in the air, we're not touching anything. So we're guaranteeing you no table maintenance. Number 2, the TREX doesn't let you spend money on table maintenance. Number 3, what's the other thing the TREX doesn't do? The TREX does not allow you to have crooked miter cuts or not 100% accurate miter cuts. Because in the current system of cutting traditional polished face up, we have to make sure that the level of the table is okay, as well as we don't have material thickness variation from one side to the other. And so what do we do when we cut upside down on a perfect plane on top of vacuum pods? We're cutting so that the piece and the blade is calculating on the software where to come out on the bottom of the material, thus giving you a perfect measurement every time on all your miter cuts. If I cut an island going from myself out into the screen 70 inches and it's 30 inches wide, that 30 inches is going to be perfect with a tape measure all the way across. So you have the straightest miter cut with no setup time. There is no probe. It's not necessary. When I go polish face down on top of vacuum pods, I'm cutting with the blade here, straight all the way across. And if the material thickness varies or rises on the other side, it doesn't matter because the blade will land in the same spot on the bottom over the pods, which is where we have our polished face. So what it won't do is that it won't cut crooked. It will only give you a perfect miter cut with perfect measurements every time. Number 4, what won't the TREX do? The TREX will not allow you to have to figure out how you're going to have separation when you do inside L miter cuts or when you do integrated sinks. And what I mean by integrated sinks, because the vocabulary is a little different all over the country, I'm talking about mitered sinks where I'm going to use the same material as the lamination on the inside of the sink. The sink will be made out of the same material as the countertop. So we're going to do a mitered sink, if you will. What happens is that when I'm upside down on miters, the blade descends, but since I'm upside down and I'm in the inside of the L, the blade is going to overcut on the inside of the L in this direction, and the blade will overcut this way. And so those two overcuts will be overlapping, but you're going to be polished face down. So you're not going to care about that overcut on the bottom because I'm simply going to cover that up with the new lamination strips of the miter. When I do an integrated sink, I'm basically mimicking the same procedure on the inside of the L in all 4 corners of the integrated sink. I will have perfect measurements and separation, no WATERJET necessary, 3 cm, 1 pass miter for quartz or granite on the TREX is averaging about 80 inches a minute in 1 pass. So you can imagine how fast, how accurate you can have an integrated sink cut out with separation, as well as the inside of the L with separation. So number 4, the TReX will not allow you to have crooked miter cuts. And then last but not least, since we don't use a water jet and we use a finger bit instead to get separation, cut inside radiuses, shape pieces, get tight nesting, a finger bit's 5/8 of an inch. We can also do cut and move, by the way. But since we use the finger bit for tight nesting scenarios, and we also have cut and move capability, which means that we can move pieces in between the process without having any downtime, because we have a 100% utilization dual table CNC where you can load or stop the machine, send it to the other table so it continues to work nonstop while you're doing some intermediary process on the cycle. So because of those things, and we use the finger bit as well, we don't need the water jet. So what we won't do is we won't make you spend an average minimum of $4,500 a month in water jet maintenance costs, such as garnet, slats, pumping of your tanks, seals, etc., plus a lot of labor. We won't make you do that. We won't make you have to go through the trouble of consistently having to buy things every day, every week. And we get around a little bit of the problems and the headaches that are involved with owning a water jet. And so those are just 5 of the things that the TReX won't do. Thank you.